These candles are my favorite. These are my fucking favorite candles to bid. And let me explain why. I love seeing this momentum of downward candles be violent. Like, I hate it when it's like this. This is the worst. This is controlled, steady, and just disgusting, right? This is fucking beautiful because this is an overreaction right here. This is usually where emotions come in, right? If a coin nukes over 10 days and every day it goes down 2%, you know, it might not be too bad to handle, right? It's like 2% every day, you can kind of handle it, whatever. But when it's like 16 hours and it goes down 10% back to back to back to back to back, you know people are in agony right here. And guess what? Your job as someone who's trading the markets is to exploit other people. You're exploiting their panic. You're exploiting the fact that they are fucking panicking. They're selling right into an area of support on the low time frames. And I'm not saying it always works, but you have a decent probability of making money off of this setup. And obviously you're only targeting like a bearish retest, right? You're targeting maybe 145. I think 145 is fair. That's what I would do. And obviously the stop loss is a close under here, right? If Bitcoin looks bearish, do you bother trading bullish setups on other coins? Not really, no. That's why I'm not spamming a bunch of longs. With the journal, you guys get to see how I manage risk. And sometimes managing risk is not taking risk, right? It's the same way how if you watch any higher level boxing match or UFC fight even, the first couple rounds in boxing and the first couple minutes or round in the UFC, they don't take that much risk. They're almost just feeling out, seeing what the other person is doing. That's almost like how you would want to approach situations where you're not sure what's going on. Like, you just don't want to take much risk because you don't know what's coming back at you. So yeah, if Bitcoin looks bearish, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not really gonna take on that much risk, you know? Like, it doesn't really make sense to do so. It's almost irresponsible. Like, if you don't know what's in the water, why the fuck are you jumping in the water, right? And like, you can't jump in the water and then be like, bro, there's a fucking shark in there, fucking asshole. It's like, well, I mean, you know, it's kind of your fault. That's the same way I would view this. If you're trading nonstop right now and you lose money, that's your fault. You know, like you're not able to identify what conditions you would perform well in and what conditions you don't. And because of that, it is 100% your fault that you have pissed money down the drain. Loma, wouldn't consolidation near all-time highs be a bullish signal? Yes and no. So yes, if it's consolidation. No, if people mistaken consolidation with a sweep. For example, we'll go back to Bitcoin because I think you were talking about Bitcoin, right? So we're consolidating at all-time highs. Yes, this is bullish, right? Unless we start losing structure right here. And the reason why this consolidation was not as bullish was because we swept the highs and then closed back below all-time highs, right? So in a similar sense, if this is the all-time high close right here, now we're just chopping around it and we're about to lose the low, right? So now we have what? A lower high and a lower low. That's a start of a downtrend, right? Like, that's usually the start of a downtrend. It's a little bit easier to visualize if you know, get another series of this. But yeah, this is the first step. So that's why, yes, I get what you're saying, it is bullish, but it's a consolidation, which is like this, right? Where there's no real trend anywhere. It's just kind of consolidating sideways. This is not consolidation, right? Like, this is not consolidate. This is a downtrend. That's not consolidation. So it depends on what people classify as a consolidation, because I see a lot of very suspect definitions out there. Yeah. Usually, if you're scalping, you're almost always taking reversal plays, right? You're taking the intraday reverses. So let's go to like a 5-minute chart, right? Usually your money isn't made here. Usually you're not playing the continuation. Usually you're fading everything. If you're scalping, you're almost always looking to play fades, which is, oh, look at this massive down, or sorry, I guess it's not massive, you know, but it's like on the 5-minute, it's fucking massive, right? So even though this is a strong down move, you would look for a long here. You would look for a long here because you see, oh wow, like this long wick indicates that there's a lot of buying pressure. Maybe people got liquidated. You can check different sources for that. You're fading that. Same with, wow, prices came up. It kind of swept the point of breakdown. So point of breakdown right here, swept it. Oh, maybe this is a good short, right? Like, you're fading it. You're always taking the fade. So my point with all of this, sorry, I sometimes get distracted, is that sometimes it's very hard when you're looking at a chart and it's just like fucking this, right? Like, how am I fading fading this. There's no real good area for me to fade. Maybe I would take one right here and then I'd be immediately stopped out. Maybe I take one right here and I guess I would have made some money, but yeah, it's a little bit difficult. So for me right now, if I had to scalp, I would look to fade a rejection above 60.5, right? Isn't it mid-curve to assess that alt will nuke if Bitcoin does, regarding the fact that bearish narrative with sell pressure only affects Bitcoin? I like that question because I like that you're starting to think deeper. You're thinking like game theory, right? You're thinking like, oh, well, it's mid-curve-ish because like, isn't everyone anticipating that? Like everyone is thinking that if Bitcoin nukes, alts are gonna nuke as well. That's such a mid-curve take, right? And you're right. But you're making the assumption that mid-curves are always wrong. And that's not true. Mid-curving is not always wrong. Like usually the people in the middle, they're right like 60-70% of the time. They just might be wrong when it comes to like one or two specific things that are so niche, right? But there's things that everyone agrees on because it's true. It's like, is it mid-curve if we go outside, the skies are blue, and someone goes, wow, it's a warm day, you know? It's like, everyone agreed that it's fucking a warm blue skies kind of day. Like that is a mid-curve take, right? Everyone agrees to that. That's a whole spectrum take, honestly, right? But because of how accurate it has been before, I think it's a safe assumption. And yes, you could assume that, oh man, maybe this is the rare exception that alts will outperform Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes down and alts go up. It could happen. I won't say you're wrong at all. It could absolutely happen, but unlikely in my opinion. And because of that, I wouldn't bet money on it, and I wouldn't bet good money on it.